The last point I want to make is that it's okay to throw food away. Many people have a moral problem with this because they think morally you should try to save as much food as you can. There's people in other countries that are hungry. There's so much food wasted every day in the US. And I just want to say that I did a lot of research on Africa, and one thing I studied was the hunger epidemic over there. And it turns out that the production of food is not the problem. There is so much food produced every day that every man, woman, and child would have enough bread like twice a day. And hunger is not something that is not solvable. What the real problem is actually politics. There are corrupt governments that keep people from not being able to start their own business, not being able to get ahead economically, not being able to have access to food. There is so much corruption in governments of some poor countries that is what is actually causing people to not have access to food or having a lack of food. Now, anywhere you go, there are going to be poor people who can't afford food, but it's not that there's not enough food for everyone in the world. So by eating food, if you feel like you can't control yourself and you just overeat on this particular food, or if you're at a restaurant or at someone's house and you're not hungry anymore and there's no way to save the food, and you feel like you have to eat everything on the plate, or if you were raised by a parent who was raised by a parent who lived in the Great Depression, they held on to everything. They ate every last crumb, and sometimes those parents raised their children to clean their plates. The problem with that is that it's better to take care of your body than to take care of the plate or the food on the plate. So if you're full and you don't want to eat anymore, don't feel guilty for throwing that food away. One, it's not going to disrupt the food production or the amount of food available for people who are hungry because there's already enough being produced every day. That's not the problem. It's the government, it's the politics. That is what the problem is, and that's where you should get involved if you're concerned about people needing food. Now, of course, there are programs out there like Food for the Hungry who provide food to those people, and there are people who really don't have food. But again, it's not because the amount of food is not available. You want to stop eating after you're full, even if you have to throw the food away or leave it on the table if you're at a restaurant, because it's better for you to be able to be productive and active and energetic. And when you overeat, you become lethargic and you become not as productive. If you think about Thanksgiving, after the Thanksgiving meal, everyone just wants to lay down. No one wants to move around. It takes your body energy to digest food if you've eaten too much of it. And so it's good to not overeat so that you can still be productive and energetic and not be overly full. In fact, you want to keep your stomach level anywhere from 25 to 75% full at any given time so that you're not too grouchy and hungry and irritable, and so that on the other end of the spectrum, you're not too overly full and lethargic and feeling just stuffed and fat. So it's okay to throw food away, especially because you want to maintain an energy level and a productivity level that enables you to go back to work after lunch or do whatever you need to do and not worry about feeling so stuffed and so full. So all this to say, you have the freedom to eat whatever you want, whenever you want. You really just want to choose the best possible foods you can at that moment, which would be carbs. It would definitely be carbs. It would be the fruits and vegetables. But 20% of the time, you do want to be able to eat whatever you want. And at any point in time, you can throw food away. It's okay. If you're done with it, if there's no more need for it, if it's no more use to your body and you can't save it as leftovers or you can't put it in a bag or you can't give it to someone else, then throw it away. It is an inanimate object and you have control over it. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty about anything, whether that's throwing food away, whether that's eating carbs, no matter what. Even if you're eating junk food, don't feel guilty if you're eating it in front of other people. They don't know what your guidelines are. They don't know what your day looks like or your lifestyle. They don't know that that's 20% of your day and you're giving yourself a treat and the rest of the time you eat healthy. especially if you're starting out and you do have a lot of extra weight on you. It might feel embarrassing to be eating some foods in front of other people, like a donut or something, but don't worry about what other people think, because as you get closer to the 80-20 numbers, you're going to see that weight come off. You're going to see the healthy food far cover the unhealthy food. And you don't ever want to go based on what you think someone else thinks of you, because other people have no idea what they're doing with weight loss and with health, like society itself. You see so many magazines and websites saying, don't eat carbs. You see so many diets saying low carb diets. They don't know what they're talking about. Carbs are fruits and vegetables, and that's what you want to be eating. And there's some diets that say not to even eat fruit because it's sugar. That is the worst advice ever. That just shows you the lack of knowledge that even quote unquote professionals have. You really have to do the research yourself. You definitely want to eat fruit. If you don't eat fruit, you're going to crave sugary foods even more, because fruit has natural sugar that curbs any kind of craving for unnatural sugar. So don't restrict food groups. Don't go on diets. Instead, follow the 80-20 rule and be sure to eat carbs every day in the form of fruits and vegetables.